lot. Yeah. I lost thousands on that one. That car lot was never anything I ever wanted. I started for a friend. That's how it was called My Friend's Car Lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he got into a religion where they started stealing from me. And I caught him stealing a bunch of money. I said, "What are you doing, you know?" He says, "You wouldn't understand. You're of the flesh." I said, "Dude, you're of the flesh too." Good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is our Tuesday, January 27th evening meeting. We will begin with Pledge of Allegiance. Todd Davis, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wonderful. Again, thank you everybody for coming. It is nice to see such an incredibly huge turnout. I'm glad we can fit everybody inside the doors because you're all on a time constraint. We'll try to get you out of here as fast as we can, but looking at the size of our agenda, our calendars is probably going to be the longest part of the meeting. So
we'll be talking to each other.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and move forward. Next comes roll call.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
Here.
Commissioner District 2, Tim Sheldon.
Here.
Commissioner District 3, Terry Jeffrey.
Here.
Item number 4, correspondence and organizational business. Do we have any correspondence?
We do. The Washington State Liquor Control Board sent special occasion license applications for Mason County Senior Activities Association and Allen Community Association, and a marijuana license application for Seattle Incentive Group. Jack Johnson and Jeff Carey submitted applications for the Transportation Improvement Program Citizen Advisory Panel. Maria Cantwell forwarded a letter from a constituent concerning the Mason County Jail. Fire District 9 sent notice that firefighter Ron Ford has been appointed to the EMS Council, and Phil Hargraves will serve as alternate.
Excellent. Just for the public to know, since this is taped and streamed, the TIPCAP committee is a transportation committee. It's probably going to be one of the most important committees in the county. We are still in need of applicants from Hoodsport.
Hoodsport and a representative from the freighting industry, trucking freighting industry.
So please, if you're listening out there, we need you. This could have a great impact on your community and the roads and how they're serviced out there. So please participate. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and move on to item number 5, which is open forum for citizens input. You'll be given up to 5 minutes per person to speak, all one of you, and up to a 15-minute total for the room. But of course, it's for items that are not on the agenda. So if you have anything you'd like to speak about that is not on the agenda today, now is your opportunity. Please raise your hand and be recognized. Is your chair comfortable enough? All right. Since there is no open forum for citizens input today, we'll move right on to the adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that the Board of County Commissioners adopt the agenda as presented this evening.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded for the adoption of the agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. Item number 7, approval of the minutes.
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we approve the January 12th briefing minutes and the January 13th regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move the second of that motion.
It's been moved and seconded for the approval of the January 12th, 2015 briefing meeting minutes and the January 13th, 2015 regular meeting minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. Next, we'll move on to the approval of the action agenda. These are the items that will be approved with one vote, unless anybody in the public would like to have it taken off for a special vote, or any of the commissioners. With that being said, we will read them to you. You'll be given an opportunity to ask a question to decide whether or not you would like to have it taken off of the agenda for a separate vote, or just have a piece of information given to you. But if you want to testify, please have it taken off. With that being said, I will read item number 8.1. Commissioner Sheldon, if you will please read 8.2, and Commissioner Jeffries, 8.3. 8.1, approval of the Veterans Assistance Fund applications for food, $150, utilities, $1,437.10, and housing, $1,121.28, for a total of $2,708.38 as recommended by the Veterans Service Office.
Mr. Chairman, 8.2, approval for the chair to sign multiple listings of Basin County surplus real estate for 2 properties located at East Angle Tracks, Shelton, and another at 11950 East State Route 106, Union.
Item 8.3, approval of warrants, claims clearing fund warrants numbers 8017913 through 8017913 for a total amount of $3,709.50. Salary clearing fund warrants numbers 700760 through 700798 for a total amount of $821,748.68. And the direct deposit fund warrants 19061 through 19435, total amount of $558,171.22.
With that being said, is there any questions from the community on any of the items that have just been read to you? Hearing no questions, any questions from the commission?
Mr. Chairman, I thought about this for a week. I wonder if in the next time that we prepare our agenda, if we might draw a line under that item number 3 and give a total amount.
Oh,
I think it would be useful to see the total. I just quickly total. It's $1.383 million. It might be nice for the public to see a total number rather than just individual.
I think we would all concur with that.
I would agree.
We'll make that happen,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Thank you for that recommendation.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, would anybody like any of the items read to you taken off for a specific separate vote? Commissioners, any items? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Board of County Commissioners approve all 3 items on the action agenda this evening.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve all 3 items on the action agenda this evening. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, and the motion carries. There are no public hearings today, so we'll go ahead and move on to item number 10, other business, department heads and elected officials. Are there any department heads who would like to speak at this time? I've got 3. I've got more department heads than I have public. Would you like to speak? Is there anything you'd like to speak on?
I'm guessing you'll probably cover it when you cover your, the Board of Health. I was just gonna-
Okay. Anything you'd like to speak on? No? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on. Who would like to do the calendars
I'd
first?
be happy to start. So last week, following our meeting, our regular meeting in the evening, we had a Mason Transit Authority Board meeting. I just wanted to report to you folks, probably the most significant action item we did was made an approval for the director to approve and sign any lease agreements on the Mason Transit Community Center. And we had a lot of discussion about the rental prices for outside groups to use the community center in various areas. Also met, the Skookum Rotary Foundation is, of course, spearheading a group to develop a new events center, and they had a meeting with people involved with the fair as well as the Historical Society, and it was a very productive meeting, and I think that we pulled in the Historical Society into this whole plan of all those groups coming together. Then Wednesday had a meeting of the Criminal Justice Working Team and the Hood Canal Coordinating Council, and then I met with representatives from the Community Youth Services and Hope Gardens about having some space here in Mason County for both of those youth services. And then we had a meeting of the Habitat for Humanity Board. I met with Mason Matters meeting, and then I had the privilege of touring the Mile Sand and Gravel facility here in Shelton. Brian Kelly gave me a tour of that. They have they have finished their reclamation work on the current quarry that they've been working on all these years, and are about finished with the construction of the conveyor belt and all the other equipment needed for their second quarry, which is right next door at the, you might be able to have a stock Stockmore properties that they purchased, or
Mhm.
something like that, right next door. That quarry is planning, it has about a 17-year estimated lifespan, depending, of course, on the markets. It's very good, and they employ 35 people here in the county, so I thought that was interesting. The Area Agency on Aging meeting, and then I met with our Commissioner for Public Utility District 3, Linda Gott, on Friday, and Melissa McFadden to prepare for, on Thursday the 29th, I'll be representing the county commissioners to the CRAB board in our request to have some monies forgiven for a grant that we were given on a project we will not be completing on Island Drive. Just to let you folks know, I'd heard from our road engineer that residents in the area are not that, there hasn't been any pushback about having that project canceled, and they are doing what they can to make sure people know the purpose for the project being canceled, which is mostly fish and wildlife requirements about the size of the culvert. It is just added probably, I think, another $500,000. It just became not affordable. We had briefings on Monday, met with some staff this afternoon before our Board of Health meeting. We have a new chair of the Board of Health. We decided to expand it to, we have an expanded Board of Health, not just the 3 county commissioners, and expanded the eligibility for chair to those members that are elected officials, and the group voted Mike Olson as the new chair of the Board of Health. Let's see, tomorrow I am going to spend the entire day practically doing the point-in-time homeless count. I wanted to know how that's done, how we do it, how we decide to do that. So I'll be at the Shelton Food Bank and then at the Matlock Food Bank doing that interviewing. And then tomorrow evening is the second meeting of the Parks Department, State Park Department on Fudge Point. And I'll be attending that meeting at the Hood Canal Community Club Crab Board on Thursday, and then constituent meeting on Friday. And then the Seahawks, of course, Super Bowl on Sunday.
Right, Mr. Chairman, last Monday, which was the 19th, at Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, we were in Olympia that day, but before I got there, I met with Scoopin Creek Tobacco, an arm of the Squaxin Island tribe, over in Camilchi, and also had a chance to meet with Island Enterprises as well, similar type organization, on Tuesday the 20th in the morning before I was down in Olympia. And let's see, we had a county commission meeting that morning, didn't we? Yeah, which I was here for. I did have a chance to speak to our treasurer, Jim McIntyre, in the afternoon about some of the transportation projects, and I think that has a lot to do with what we hope to have here in Mason County for projects as well. So he's a wonderful guy to work with. And Wednesday I was in Olympia, Thursday as well. Had a chance to meet with the realtors. They had a reception that evening at the Red Line. That was Thursday the 22nd, and also met with the members of the Society of American Foresters, who had also a reception at the Children's Museum in Olympia. And Friday I met with some local contractors as well. We had a short session. And on Friday I was down in Ocean Shores for a meeting. Was the speaker at a group. Sunday, didn't do anything except around the place. Let's see, yesterday also had a meeting with Scoopin Creek Tobacco early this morning. Wanted to say I also did have a meeting with Joe Mankey, Rusty Gill, and Fred Wright with Ridge Motorsports, and wanted to pass on to the other commissioners and the public. I think it was a great meeting. I have wonderful plans out there. I'll let that be their issue to bring to the public, but I'm very encouraged about how their business plan is developing. A couple other items, if I have just
Please.
a quick chance. For the other commissioners and others, the capital budget is being developed here soon with in the Senate. It's Jim Honeyford, who's the chair of the committee from Sunnyside, And so they have a form, and as I understand it now, the form has been filled out by the senior center for their changes out here at their facility. John, if there is a request from the sheriff for any type of a evidence building, we'll need to get that right form, but, you know, there may be some other buildings in the county that are suitable or available. I think that's something that commissioners have to know. I asked Diane if she'd talk to Debbie, and I see Vicki here too, about the North Mason School District. I know we discussed in our meetings with community development about the plan check for them for their building permit, and I think it was the conversation was about, did we have somebody that could help with their plan? I think we were going to farm it out. Is that right?
I think we farmed out the senior. I don't know that we actually farmed out the high school, but I know that there's been a lot
We
they've been
did
working on.
Grayview Elementary.
Okay, but the high school is the one I'm concerned about, and I asked, and Diana passed it on to you, Vicki, and since you're here, could the commissioners agree that if we had Debbie Riley take a look at the plans or talk to the school board and see what the possibilities of hooking up to the welfare treatment plant would be?
I think we should, I'm agreeable to that, but I understand, but it's not been completely cleared up or specific, but I understand the design called for $160,000 septic system that is already installed. So I'm trying to do some more research, but I think we should have Debbie go forward and see what we can put together.
Yeah.
If there's any opportunity, you're right.
We wouldn't want to miss the opportunity, because of course the state approves that. It's a large it would be a large on-site
yeah.
system, so we don't have the input that the state has for that. But if someone like Debbie could check into it, I would hate to miss an opportunity if we could hook them up.
Yeah.
There's the Boys and Girls Club up there as well. I don't know if they're
And a
into
junior
that.
high.
And a junior high.
A former planning commission, or planning advisory committee member alerted me to this very discussion in 2011, and I asked for and read the minutes in the staff report when there was consideration of hooking other residential units up that were not within the overgrowth area. And in the minutes in the discussion, and you were on the planning commission
Yes,
at the
I
time, there was a lot of warning that the law says that in order to do that, it has to be a public health, safety, and environment. There was a lot of discussion in the minutes about all three of those need to be there instead of the word or, the connector of or. Problem or threat in order to allow somebody outside the urban growth area. So people were, in the discussion and in the staff report, it was not clear that this is explicitly allowed in state law if you're outside the urban growth area to expand the urban services. So, I think that there's still some issues we need to probably look at regarding, is it going to be allowed?
Yeah, the issue that came up at that time, though, was not for, what's the term we're looking for when it's a big government,
Essential public facility.
essential public facility. That may be an exemption, though, or an exception to the rule. But at the time, we were dealing with large organizations that were outside the urban growth area, and they did all agree that we thought it was not allowed. But essential
Well, maybe I
public
should.
service might be.
Okay.
So we need to
Maybe
look into
I
that.
need to look at it, because we did hook up the Zion camp,
Yeah.
which is outside the urban growth area of Allen,
Okay.
and that was hooked up. And certainly it's not a statewide, I mean, it's not a school, but it's a youth camp, church camp,
Okay.
and that was allowed. Now, I think either I passed a bill to do that, or they gave us the okay, but I can't remember. But we had a bill in Olympia
Okay.
about that.
I do remember the bill, and we had this discussion, did that pass or not, and I apologize that I didn't
Yeah, but I know they're hooked
follow
up,
up on that.
Mhm.
so I think
Okay.
there's some precedent.
Well, I think we're all in agreement that we want to continue to move forward with that. If you could please make sure that Debbie,
Yeah.
it'd be appreciated from all of us.
Thank you.
Anything further, Commissioner? Okay, I'm up. First, I attended a legislative reception, which a couple of our representatives were there. Well attended. We ended up getting quite a quite a few of the county's issues brought forward. Then I ended up at a breakfast meeting with the Kiwanis at Spencer Lake Resort. Used to be tavern. Oddly enough, a lot of their biggest issues were more about traffic and roads and infrastructure like that. And I found it interesting. They gave me a lot of work to do, so I'm doing a lot of work to try and find out. They're a very well-educated group. I went to Olympia for the Legislative Steering Committee, and while I was there, I connected with Senator Sheldon and testified on behalf of a bill that he's put forward. And I sure hope you're successful, Commissioner, Senator. It will save us a lot of money. It is a bill that we've talked about before that would allow the courts to go further down the list than line number 1 that says, "Do you receive any?"
This is for indigent defense.
Yeah, assistance. There was some pushback from some, but we need to give a compliment to our public defender, who she did very well.
She testified
She
as
went and
well.
testified as well, and there was a senator that really wanted to beat her up. But I thought she handled herself very well, and pointed out that she has a responsibility as their attorney not to divulge certain information, because one of them just to spill the beans on her. Why aren't you calling basically the cops on it? Can't do that. I'm an attorney. I thought she did very well. But, Commissioner, that's a great bill, and if there's anything we can do to help, I'm sure we all understand how detrimental this weight is on us. So thank you for putting that forward and getting a hold of me while I was there to go over and testify. I also went and you attended a tobacco thing, I attended a pot thing. There's a building out in Belfair that I've heard a lot of different things about. I went into a restaurant, I guess this is funny, pizza parlor, and here was a bunch of people sitting at a table, and one of them had recognized me, came over and asked who I was, and I said, yes, I'm Randy Netherland, and my brother's sitting there. He proceeded to point over to all these people. There was a bunch of people sitting at a table, and said, I just want you to know they're all working because of what you guys did. So allowing them to go, there was a bunch of them. And they offered to have me come down there. I said, well, is there any marijuana there presently? Because I'm not interested in that. And they said, no, there's no marijuana presently, so you can come down. Holy moly, this thing, they spent over $1 million on this. This is a greenhouse that is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. You push buttons and very slowly, very quietly, no noise, everything closes down, goes completely dark and everything. It's huge, and it is no hoop house like I would have I would have thought. It's completely different. Like I said, they've already invested over $1 million. 3 partners, and I understand now, and talking to Barbara, that this is actually the norm. One is a banker. One was some big director at AT&T, but in the marketing aspect, and the other is a owner of some big company that builds homes, world-class homes and stuff. And I guess that's the norm, according to Barbara. That's how they team up to do this, and it makes sense when you think about it. And going through some of the processes, they showed me a machine where they will be making edibles and stuff. Did you know that if THC is not raised to a temperature of 180 degrees, it is not effective, I didn't know that. You heard that? I'd never heard that before. So it has no hallucinogenic or high effect if it's not raised to the temperature of 180 degrees. I thought, wow, that's pretty interesting. They showed me a machine that they paid $75,000 for that will suck out all these nutrients and stuff out of the plants. They paid $75,000. They estimate that it'll bring in revenues of over $1 million a year with that machine. This was a lot different than I ever thought, and I was real hesitant to go, but I'm glad I did. And then I asked about employees. They're getting ready to hire a bunch more people because, as I said, they're not even doing any of the stuff yet, and they're going to hire them local, and they're very appreciative. And the minimum that they pay is $15 an hour, and their highest paid employee is $80,000 a year. So that's a pretty good amount of money.
Did you get a tour of the facility?
I did, yes.
You did? Great.
Yes, like I said, there's nothing in it. I just
Yeah.
went through all the places, but that greenhouse, I've never seen nothing like it. It's amazing, and now because of it, they're flying people in to see it for across the nation, I guess. And
Where is it located?
down Old Belfort, no,
I know it.
yeah, down the Old Belfort Highway.
Oh, the old, there's.
Yeah. And, it is completely, there's cameras absolutely everywhere. You can't go anywhere without swiping a card. It is, boy, it's tight, you know. A matter of fact, I think you have a harder chance getting into there than you do sneaking into our jail. It was pretty tight. And again, nobody was high at all that I talked to, at least. But they had some pretty brilliant people there. It was interesting. Then I went to, I met with a member of the Sewer Advisory Committee who was helping me to structure a few more of the things to put together an actual plan and outlay in a manner that everybody had asked for, so that it'll be easier to understand line by line
Thank you.
what everything is, and we'll be on it, so that we can also discuss what best to do with it. Hood Canal Coordinating Council. Then I also had a meeting with the West Sound Alliance. And then I went this morning and did a tour with the realtors. I haven't done it in quite a while. First of all, there's very low inventory, which is very good for prices. It used to be that you had up to 3 years in certain parts of inventory, and now we're down to, you know, months. And on top of that, the prices are going up greatly. I'm looking at a house today when I went in there that I know would have been $249 about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and right now it's at $329. That's getting people. So I'm not saying we're doing anything right, but somebody's doing something right, because it's all starting
The
to.
market's picking up.
It sure is, and it's wonderful. Let's see, also, we had our briefings. I had the North Mason Community Voice meeting last night. The topic of discussion was the possible combining of Central Mason Fire and North Mason Fire District. Let's see, we had our Board of Health meeting, and then for next week, we have our briefings. I have a meeting I'll be attending on the issue of Fudge Point at Harstein Island, North Mason Chamber Luncheon. I have a preliminary meeting with the past chair on the Alliance of Healthy South Sound to talk over how to do a power transfer on that, if you want to call it. That's what they call it. Then I have a regular meeting of the Executive Board of Alliance of Healthy South Sound. I'll be trying to attend a sheriff's training that's occurring. I've been invited to. West Sound Alliance is all getting together to go and meet with all the legislators on our transportation issues that we have for this region. It's all been put together. Now we're trying to get it moving forward. I have a legislative conference call. I have the cemetery board meeting. Then we have I have another ledge conference call. Then we have our briefings and a Port of Allen meeting before the next meeting. And I'm glad we said all this, because we had no business today. So all the people out in the audience, out there on the internet, know that we actually do work. It's not just a hobby.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. With that being said, is there anything further to come before this body?
I think I have
Oh, check
changed
you out.
your
Just so that
mind.
we don't get done too soon.
By the way, our board report and calendar was twice as long as our regular meeting.
Vicki Kirkpatrick, Mason County Public Health and Human Services, and what I was hoping that we would mention was that we did have our Board of Health meeting today, and as part of that Board of Health meeting, we had some young people from Shelton School District, and through a small grant from our health department, the Students Against Destructive Decisions and the WSU Youth in Action partnered and created a drug prevention PSA, and the kids wrote the script. The kids did the acting, and WSU and Youth in Action did a lot of the editing and put the thing together. It was, I believe, extremely well done, very professional looking. The kids were incredible, and I don't want to, Tim unfortunately wasn't able to be there, Commissioner Sheldon. But Commissioner Netherland and Commissioner Jeffries and other board members were able to watch it, and I think it had a pretty great impact on everyone who saw it. And so eventually we hope to be getting it more out to the community. It's geared towards the kids, and right now it's being reviewed by the Shelton School Board. And we'll make it more available. The commissioners asked that it be put on the county website. But it was just a really, really nice Board of Health meeting, I thought, today, and it really gives you a great feeling about the talent and the abilities and the leadership of some of the kids that are in Mason County.
Agreed. I'm one of the ones that I was not very much in favor of doing this project. It seemed like a waste of money, but we took a chance, and I'm glad we did because they were very effective. It is very good, and when the public gets a chance to see it, they'll see what we mean, because I didn't take it in lightly. It was well done.
It was very well done, and they used poetry. They spoke in the various voices of temptation, the addiction itself, and it was just very artistically done.
Kept me the whole time. Anything further to come before this body? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned.